How many peppers in a peck?
Packing peckers. He's a pecker packer.
Like, is a peck a different measurement?
I have no idea. I just know that Peter picks some peppers and picked them in a pack.
And he was packing them?
A pack of pickled peppers. How many packs of pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
Well, that's
my phone.
your phone.
I mean, you can use it.
Recenter.
But anywho's. Is it recording?
Recording.
Okay.
Yes.
What were we talking about?
We were not talking about.
Oh, okay. Peter Piper picking a pack of pickled peppers.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I don't remember where we were. That's all right. So the other day, and this is going to be kind of sad and funny. It's sad because of humanity. It's funny because people with schizophrenia are human. So, see, you laughed already, and I didn't even tell you what happened.
Canceled in 3.
2. No, not canceled. Just, maybe,
Frowned
put it
upon?
a different time slot.
Oh, okay.
Move to a different time slot. So, driving through Lancaster the other day.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Is it Lancaster or Lancaster?
Well, I say it's Lancaster. I have gone on to pronounce it as Lancaster because that's what every dimwit down there calls it.
Is that what they call it?
Yes. So
just
so I don't have to hear Lancaster every time I say Lancaster, because everybody corrects me. It's like if someone mispronounced my name every time, and they were like, "Okay, Martelle," and I'm like, "It's Martelle."
I've never lived in a place where people, I mean, this is just from my lens, mispronounce shit so much. Like, it's spelled Oregon in this area where I live in Dayton, but people call it the Oregon District.
It's Oregon.
Yeah, not the Oregon District. And then there's Russia.
It's not the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's spelled, to me, it's spelled Russia, but they call it Russia.
What?
Russia.
It's not even close. You put wrong emphasis on the syllable.
And I've heard people call the Queen City Cincinnati.
They're just idiots.
Yeah.
They must be from Australia.
Or Ohio.
Or higher.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Lancaster.
So I was down in Lancaster, as it's spelled, and it was, there's a drug problem, there's a homeless problem in Lancaster, as every major city would have.
Yeah.
Although Lancaster is not a major city, but it has its fair share of homeless and
it's close to Columbus, isn't
issues. It's like 40 minutes.
Okay.
40 miles, something like maybe 25 miles. I don't know. I don't do distance well. I don't distance.
Good.
But so I was driving down the street, and I'm coming back from the gym, and I'm kind of minding my own business, but this guy catches my eye. Or no, it was a woman catches my eye first. And
you're assuming.
Well,
this person's gender.
Yeah, I am. Based on
let's just put that out there.
The dress, the strawberry shortcake dress, with the jeans and the big floppy, like flower-like hat, and the purse or satchel, depending on who you are.
Could be a European carryall.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Rogan talk to Ice Cube. And I got the window down, and I hear her talking. But I can't hear exactly what she's saying. But she's mumbling something, and she's across the street. But she's talking loud enough that I can hear her. And I'm like, I'm thinking, man, this ain't cool. Like, she's probably got some mental issues. And then she hugs something.
Something?
Well, it wasn't there.
Oh.
So not only was she talking to somebody, she literally hugged midair, gave it a pat on the back, and then proceeded to walk with her hand in the air like her hand was around its shoulders, while congratulating it on whatever it was it did.
On its accomplishment?
I was just kind of like, okay, all right. Mental health, serious thing. that was kind of funny. Like, she fell into a hug. Like, you know how you're like, ugh,
Yeah.
fall into a hug? She fell into the hug. And something herself, but it was like something caught her in the hug as well, like fell into her and they hugged, and we're like, there's nothing there. Okay, cool. Schizophrenia at its finest. Well, then you remember the original, like the old mobile phones from like the 80s, the brick.
Oh, yeah. The Zach
Okay.
Morris phones.
Yes.
Had one.
Yeah. So
Wish I still had it.
this takes
Took an hour to charge and it lasted an hour.
and it lasted 22 minutes. This takes the brick to a whole new level, because this dude was talking on a brick,
Oh, wow.
not the phone.
Oh, an actual brick. Oh, I thought you meant he had a brick cell
No.
phone. I'm sorry. I got excited for nothing.
He was literally had a brick held up to his head, talking into a brick like it was a cell phone, yelling at somebody about them owing him fucking money. Again, mental illness is not hilarious, but
No.
this dude was talking to a brick. And it wasn't my pet rock. It was a big red brick.
Like a big masonry.
Yeah,
Brick.
well, like, and as he's talking to he's like swinging his arm while he's also swinging this brick at the same time. Like, he's like, like yelling at the brick, and I'm just like, oh, I kind of wish that I had my phone out.
Oh,
right now.
dear God. No,
I
no.
wanna, like,
Can't do that.
But then, like, that's bad. But the dude was, I mean,
So speaking of going to hell,
talking to bricks.
do you get those YouTube shorts where it's a girl pretending to be the devil? I'm fairly certain I've sent you some. And like, people are complaining about being in hell.
No.
Like, there's a bunch of anti-vaxxers here. They want to talk to the manager.
No. Oh, my God. I'm in for that shit. Like,
I thought
that's-
for sure I had sent you some.
No, that's my sense of humor.
Hold on, I think I have one.
Oh,
'Cause
man.
my son was talking about, I don't know if he was talking about anti-vaxxers or something, but he happened to be talking about something that was relative to one of the topics that this girl did. And I was like, oh, shit. Is that how ironic?
Okay.
Bring him in. I deserve an explanation.
Whoops.
What roll?
Satan. Yes, Joanne. Some anti-vaxxer soul from Kansas has arrived and is causing a lot of commotion. Bring him in. I deserve an explanation as to why I'm in
You
hell.
got it. So you refused to get a life-saving vaccine during a pandemic, and you also refused to wear a mask because of
Yeah,
freedom.
that doesn't explain why I'm in hell and not with
That wasn't
God.
enough. Wearing a yellow star on your clothing to a municipal meeting didn't help.
What choice
either.
did we have? This was basically
Don't say it.
the
Don't say it.
Holocaust.
Oh, God. I mean, what is it, a movie?
The Holocaust too. It's payback
It is
time.
symbolic of the oppression that
You
we
not
are
being
currently
allowed to
facing.
step foot
God
in a
would
wall
never
without
do
a
this
mask
to
on
his
is an
devoted
oppression.
followers,
He
okay?
doesn't know
His
it's
love
not
is
a
real,
real
and
life.
he hate the only
Free
will,
will,
and I will not
says
become a
you
sheep under
try.
government. If you could just go ahead and move your ass to your assigned ward, that would be great.
Dum-dum. This motherfucker.
Hello. I am so sick of dealing with anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, that's valid.
Every single day, one of them is like, please, just a crumb of repression, so I beg of you.
Oppression, me alone.
This is your creation.
I
I never claimed that it was my finest work.
Satan. Yes, Joanne. Some anti-vaxxer soul from Kansas has arrived and is causing a lot of
Never.
I thought for sure I had sent you that, but
I
I will remedy that situation right now.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I will watch that shit for hours.
Like every other one is
Yeah.
about. Every other one she does is Satan, like about someone complaining about the conditions in hell.
I did see a shirt today on Facebook. It came up as an ad. Instead of it saying "Not today, Satan," it said "Maybe today, Satan." Like, yeah, maybe today. I don't know.
Maybe today is the day.
Maybe today. Maybe every day is an opportunity.
Yes,
If you would make it
for a
one.
new experience.
That's right. Oh God. So, yeah, mental health. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Hell, funny.
Hell, funny. Yeah.
If it existed, it'd be even more hilarious.
It'd be. Yeah, the whole mental health thing. It's like, I feel like most of these things that you find coming up where there's like people on people, like mass tragedy,
Yeah.
there's some component of mental illness in there.
Absolutely.
So like, let's try and fix the problem.
Nope.
No.
Guns are the problem.
Yeah, I've never seen a gun walk into a store and, I mean, I own weapons, and I don't hide from that. But I mean, there's two sides to that. Like, do I need a weapon with a 100-round drum that can fire, dozens of rounds per second? And I mean, most of the deer I hunt don't wear bulletproof vests. Like I have no need to own armor-piercing rounds.
No, I don't need armor-piercing rounds.
No. But should I be allowed to be a owner of weapons if I choose to be? I think you should.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I own weapons.
And personally, like, I don't really have a problem registering my weapon because I don't intend to use it for nefarious purposes.
Right. I mean, I have the president's football, so I mean, I own WMDs, so it's fine.
Wooms.
I mean, yeah. I've got the football. It's in the back. I brought it with me.
The Apache football.
I've got AR-15s. I've got shotguns. I've got an AR-15.
That was your dad's, right?
No, that one. No, every other weapon I have was my dad or my grandfather's. The AR-15 was that was a traded item.
Barter.
Yeah. So I sold a car to a guy. I wanted $1,200 for the car. He said I got $800 and an AR-15. I'm like, send me the serial number. I'm having it checked.
Yeah, making sure there's no bodies on it.
He's like, no problem. He sent it to me. He's like, the only thing it needs is a new handle. I'm like, all right.
Easy enough.
I'm like, fine. It actually needed more than that, but
in his eyes.
Yeah, it needed a new. It needed a charging handle and the ejector tube. And so for $200, I got a new charging handle and a tube, and problem solved.
Yeah.
And now I have an AR-15. But I laid out my AR-15. No, it hasn't been out of the safe in a couple years. But I set it out on the floor to see if it would disappear and go. I wanted to see, if it was going to go rob a bank or hold up a liquor store. It didn't do any of that stuff, and it sat there. I mean, I left it alone for quite a while.
And again, this is just me trying to think very analytical, and having a history with weapons because of my previous employer.
Yeah.
But when people make the argument about making weapons illegal or whatever, I think the argument is flawed because most gun crime occurs with pistols.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, when you talk about just pure incidences, the number of incidences, it's a 9mm or less pistol of some sort. Now, when there's mass casualties involved, there's generally a rifle of some sort.
Now, I don't think the general person needs to own a fully automatic weapon.
Oh, no, I think that's a bit much.
I think that's a bit much. I don't even think the normal person needs to own a 3-burst.
Can you own a 3-burst?
I don't know. I know that you have to have like a Class C license for a full automatic.
Yeah.
And that basically, at that point, you're a broker. You're a dealer. You're an arms dealer.
Yeah.
For the most part. And that's the only way you can really own
fully automatic.
A full automatic. Yeah. Burst, I don't know.
I don't know that I've ever seen one of. I mean, again, my dealings with weapons are all from quote work.
Yeah.
So,
which is different.
So my understanding of what's available commercially is very skewed and very ignorant.
I don't know if you can buy a single shot or a 3-round burst safety lower for like an AR just from Rocky River or whoever.
Yeah.
For furniture, but I don't think that anybody needs to own that either personally. But if I want to own an AR-15, I should be allowed to. It's a rifle. It's not an assault rifle.
Yeah.
I don't even know that there really is such thing as an assault rifle.
Well, it's what people call it. It's Armor Light.
It's Armor Light, yeah.
Assault rifle.
It's the name of the company or the model.
The model, yeah.
But I don't even know there's such thing as an assault rifle.
I think it's only been called an assault rifle just because that's what it's been popularized as.
Well, it's what the military uses to assault when they go in, when they run, outside the wire. It's just like, okay, but I have an AR-15.
But we don't, what we call them M4s.
There's those too.
We don't call them AR-4s.
I get it.
But I think that's just a nomenclature, between the civilian model and a...
Yeah. I mean, it's a different...
military model.
It's technically a different model anyway. I mean, it has a different function. But you get your AR-10 and put a sniper rifle on it, and get yourself long range going with some 7.62. But anyway, I think that there's a mental capacity to that as well, and I'm all for background checks on buying weapons.
I mean,
I'm all for
what do you have to hide?
Mental health checks before someone buys a weapon either. Like,
I would agree. And was it California? They have like a 3-day or 5-day? There's some amount of days.
Ohio has like a week or some shit.
No, I've walked out of stores with weapons multiple times.
When we bought my dad his muzzle loader back in the 90s, we had to wait. They had it in stock. We had to wait, I think it was 3 days before we could get it.
Oh no, most recent weapon I bought was within the past 2 years, and I walked out even faster because I have a CHL.
Oh, well, that may be different then.
No, I mean, but even before I had my CHL, it would take me like once I decided to purchase and they ran everything within an hour.
Oh shit!
It wasn't like I didn't have to wait days and come back and get it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think there should. I thought there was I'm going to be honest. I thought there was a global waiting period.
Oh no! I think it's dictated by every state.
And there should be at least a 7-day waiting period, because people will go into stores to buy guns to commit a crime right then and there. Like, I'm going to kill this bitch.
Yeah.
And go buy a gun to do that exact thing. Where the waiting period is supposed to be a cool off period. And I'm all for that too. Do that shit.
Because
just don't tell me what I can and can't own.
And that's where I have some confusion, where they talk about that gun show loophole.
Yeah.
Because I guess some states, like I said, you were just saying, you have to wait. Whereas I guess at gun shows, I've never purchased a weapon from a gun show, so I don't know.
I haven't either. I don't think I've ever been to a gun show. Except for this one. Oh.
So I think maybe that's what they're referring to is, I mean, I don't even know if they do background checks, which if it's like a...
Well,
I imagine a gun show to be like a swap meet. Like I said, I've never been to one where they just have all this stuff.
Yeah, they're supposed to, if they are a licensed vendor, they're supposed to be doing a background check no matter what.
But do you have to have a vendor's license to sell at a gun show, though? I don't think so, because I have a buddy that he got rid of a Glock or something at a gun show, and you just have to tell them what you're selling, and then you can either like set up a booth and say I'm selling this weapon, or
walk around with it in your waistband, just lift them. Do you want to buy this?
No, I think they have like a registry or something where it's like, oh, all these people are selling these weapons, and it just shows up on this like a website or something. Because he said before he even got there were like people that had offers to buy this gun from him. Again, like I said, I've never been to one.
I don't know enough about that. I have literally never bought a gun. I own 6 rifles.
They were all procured.
And 2. I own 6 rifles and 2 revolvers, and I haven't purchased a single one of them.
Yeah, all of them I've purchased.
Mine have all been inherited.
Yeah, it's really funny because there's a gun store on the installation on the base.
Yeah,
and it's really weird buying guns on the base, because once you purchase, because you're not supposed to have weapons on the base, but once you buy the weapon, you're supposed to immediately like leave the base.
Leave the base.
So you can't like go buy a gun and go back to work.
I'm a little surprised that they don't allow that with some of the shit that's happened at some of the bases.
I guess, let me rephrase. So like they have, after I left the military, as I was leaving the military, they started having this selective arming program, where your unit commander could designate people to have weapons on them at work, but they had to be concealed, obviously.
Right. No imprinting.
Yes, and then...
That's why I wear a smock.
That's why I wear baggy pants all the place. And then after I retired, you're allowed to, if you're active duty, you're allowed to bring weapons on base, but you have to leave them in your vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean...
It kind of defeats the purpose if someone is
Well, but prior to that, like you couldn't, even if you're,
You couldn't bring them
like
on
I
at all.
couldn't bring a weapon on,
Right.
you know, even in my position. You know,
these don't count.
Yeah.
Because that's the police.
there's certain people that are always armed, like obviously the law enforcement people, and then people that work in certain areas around certain types of equipment, like depending on what category of security it's identified as.
Yeah.
So you could have a job where you're not a cop, but you still carry a weapon.
Yeah, I think, I'm not 100%, and they're not going to correct me if I'm wrong.
At least in the Air Force.
But I think my sister and brother-in-law, they both carry.
Well, yeah, if you're armor, you have to carry.
Yeah, so I know Sarah carries to work. But Jose, I'm not sure. I think he did as well.
He probably for what he does. It wouldn't surprise me. I think it would surprise me more if he didn't.
Yeah, I mean both their. You walk in their house, and if you know where to look, you'll find their weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
As some people would like to call them, even though it's just a 9mm Glock. But yeah, and they just have all their shit and whatever. I went through all the concealed carry stuff and never actually went through all the classes to do it, and then never actually got the license because I never made it downtown Columbus to the
Watch
sheriff's
out.
office.
Object on road ahead.
There's an object on the road ahead. But I think I told Liz I want to buy a new a rifle. I want to get a lever action, like 357 or 38, because I have the 357 out of 38 revolver. So then I don't have to buy all kinds of rounds for it, so that I can use that to go hunting with. But I also told her that I want to get a SIG or a Glock or something to something small to putz around with. Work on my quick draw from my torso carry.
Yes.
Just,
So Mel used to help the 3G tactical guys.
Yeah.
She used to help them with their range portion of the CHL class.
Okay.
She was mainly there for when women, would come in, because it's obviously nice to have another female face out there, so it's a little bit less intimidating.
Yeah.
When you're going through the training. And there was one class that she was helping with that there were no women, so she just was helping some random guy. And this bitch was trying to conceal carry a full barrel 357.
Hells yes. All right, Dirty Harry. Jesus.
Mel says she saw that dude.
It's like the Joker pulling out.
Exactly. He uncased his pistol, and she looked at Mark. And Mark was just shrugged his shoulders, was like,
I mean,
do you?
Yeah, apparently someone's watched a little too many
Dirty Harry movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to get just something stupid to mess around with. But I really wish in our area, even if I had to drive an hour away, I wish there was a place like Terran Tactical out in LA.
Oh, it's in Vegas, isn't it? Is that the one where you can go shoot fully automatic weapons?
No. Terran Tactical. That's who. He's the one who basically.
Oh, no, I have some of their stuff. They make magazine extensions and stuff like that.
They do all the stuff for movies like John Wick and.
Oh.
That's Terran Tactical.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's where Keanu Reeves goes to
do all the 3-gun training.
Do all
and stuff.
the 3-gun training and all the.
The dude can move,
speed
man.
Stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The speed shooting and all of that. So I wish there was a place around here similar to that, and there may be. I mean, I know a guy there's a guy I work with who is a competitive shooter in that same way. Apparently he's pretty good. But I've never looked him up. But
apparently insurance for 3-gun places is astronomical.
I'm sure you get some dipshit that walks out in front of you while you're pew.
I mean, I'm sure insurance for a range in itself is probably pretty horrible, but because Mark and Matt were talking about doing a 3-gun competition, and they said as soon as they got an insurance quote, they were like, we're not doing this, because it was so cost prohibitive, which I understand.
But I think it'd be cool to get into like competitive shooting like that, like speed shooting, and either with pistol or with.
Have you seen those like the tactical games that they do?
Yeah. Well, Castro did something, didn't he? Did like they had to do like Fran, and then they had to hit 9 targets.
I don't know specifically. I know he doesn't. The shit he does is like not like the tactical games. It's like far beyond that.
Oh no, I'm saying he had a competition. It was like Froning. So they put like the world's fittest guy.
Something
Froning.
Oh, they did something like out at the ranch.
Yeah, with the world's best shooter. It was some Asian guy, and basically they combined the two things. And he's like, all right, he goes, we're gonna do
this workout.
We're gonna do this workout you gotta spike your central nervous system.
Yeah.
And then you gotta go shoot these targets.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a combination.
Stress fire.
Yeah, it was a combination of how fast can you get the workout done,
and then how fast can you get your shit together.
Can you hit? You know, you had to hit when you stepped up to the line and grabbed your pistol. There was a speed portion to that, but there was more so an accuracy portion. Like you had X amount of time, like whatever, 2 minutes or 3 minutes, to once you finish the workout to step up to the line, and then then it was an accuracy thing on how many targets you could hit. It was actually pretty cool, and I think they did three different
scenarios,
workouts. Like one of them I think was Fran. Then there was another one that was like maybe burpees and a rifle. So they just had to hit the targets. But I was like,
watch out! Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
There's a vehicle on the shoulder ahead. But it'd be cool to have someplace like that around Ohio somewhere, at least within an hour of where I'd want to drive. I don't know I want to drive much further than that.
Yeah. I don't have a rifle, but I have pistols and a shotgun.
Got that shotty.
So that would just be like more money I have to spend on shit.
Yeah, it would be another hobby that would be super expensive.
Yeah, that doesn't make any money.
Yeah, that you don't make any money on. That seems to be my thing.
Yeah,
hobbies where you don't make any money.
So I'm really good at that, spending my wife's money.
Yeah.
On my hobbies.
Now there is a gun range in Zanesville that has a 1 mile long range target.
Yeah.
So that you can go with your Barrett, your 50 cal, whatever you want to. But I've never been out there.
Watch out! Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Lots of
vehicles. The vehicle's still there. But as far as like again back to, I just think there's ways to get around the people that are completely against weapons, and then the people that are just fucking gun nuts.
Yeah,
there are people.
I mean, for every person you hear on the news or on social media, there's a bunch of people like me and you that could give a fuck less what other people care.
Right. Exactly.
Because like people are kind of surprised to know that I have and carry weapons, and they're like, "What?
What?"
Like, I'm in. I have the privilege of doing so. I just choose to exercise it. I was like, just because I don't sit there and talk about it all the time doesn't mean like, it's not part of my identity. It's just I'm a gun owner. I was like, there's more quiet gun owners than there are loud gun owners and opponents of weapons.
There's more to me than my gun.
I'm not just a piece of meat.
Not just a bullet casing.
Yeah, but it's funny because I'm one of those people where once they find that out, they'd be like, well, hey, I was thinking about getting a weapon, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, for what? Yeah, that's usually my first question. Well, for protection. Okay, what are you protecting?
Protection from what?
Yeah. He's like, well, if someone breaks into my house. I'm like, okay, that's reasonable.
All right.
What is it? What's your experience with weapons?
Get a shorty shotgun with some salt pellet.
No, and that's right. And the first thing, and if they're adamant about getting something, I'm like, get a shotgun.
Yeah.
You're like, well, why a shotgun? Well, should I get a pistol? I'm like, well, you could, but but do you think in the heat of the moment, when you're faced with a life or death decision, you have the discipline to be able to aim a bullet that's less than a quarter inch and hit somebody? And are you willing to kill them and deal with the consequences of that?
Yeah, I mean,
because people don't think about that part. Like once you pull that trigger, like you can't. There's no reset.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle.
Yeah.
But it's, well, even more than that. Like I always tell people, like, well, get a short barrel shotgun and you get salt ammo.
Yeah.
Get salt.
Or birdshot.
The birdshot too. The salt, like
I've never been hit with either.
I haven't either.
But I would feel like the salt would be
the salt is far less lethal than the birdshot.
Oh, absolutely. But so I'm just saying, but the pain.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Like, put the salt cartridge in first, follow it up with birdshot. But you got to think about, with a 9mm, you're going to put that through drywall.
Well, and that's the other thing is like people don't understand like the ballistics where, because I mean for years like I kept a 45 by my bed. And that's super irresponsible.
Yeah, that go right
because that's going to go right through the person, through the wall, and into my neighbor's house.
Yeah, that's why I always, whenever someone ever asks me, I'm like, you just get a shotgun and get salt.
Yeah.
Just get salt ammo and just use that.
But now you can even get the non-lethals, the beanbags.
Yeah, you can get those.
They're expensive, but you know what? If you shoot someone with a non-lethal, they are not going to continue to come at you.
No, they're not. But
because I have been hit with those wearing protective gear, and that shit is unpleasant.
Yeah, I've seen video. I've never been hit by one. I've seen video, but just the sound of someone racking the shotgun.
Yeah,
is usually
psychologically, that's enough to get someone to reconsider. Yeah,
and that's usually why I just tell them just get the shotgun. Doesn't matter which style. You can get the pistol grip, get the shoulder mount, get the whatever, get the one that has the handle on the charger.
Yeah.
To rack it. It doesn't matter what you get. I always tell people to get the short one because you get that idiot who grabs they like bam and they smack it right into the door frame.
Yeah.
Because of the barrel. Just get the short one.
Well, not only that, like someone can grab the barrel and get control.
Yeah, and take over control.
And just these lot of little things that people don't think about because the one I got Mel, it's a short barrel. It's a I can't remember. It's got 2 tubes, so it holds like 10 plus 1.
Yeah.
So it's got the rails on it, and I put a foregrip on it, and a light, and
a laser, and a green laser, so she can use her nods.
I think is there a laser on it?
I don't know.
No, it's just a flashlight. It's like one of those 100,000 lumen, with
flashing and disorienting.
Well, it's got the pressure switch on it. On the I put it on the handle.
Okay.
And we've gone over like this is and I have iron sights on it too, so she can co-witness.
Yeah.
But I was like, basically anything that flashlight is hitting, it is gonna get hit, regardless of how near or far you are.
Yeah.
And we've talked about like in the event something happens, like where she needs to position herself. If I'm not home. And just shit like that, so she's way more confident now in the event she has to have a home defense situation, versus with the pistol because she was always worried about like, well, what if I miss? And I was like, you know what, this is probably and coupled with that like her level of comfort.
Yeah.
Because if I'm there, like I unfortunately have experience in this sort of shit, so it's easier for me to perform under that situation, whereas she's never fired a weapon at a human being,
Yeah. Well, that's if and unfortunately, if you're running something where you got, a magazine,
it holds multiple points
rounds,
of failure,
you can, one, multiple points of failure, but two, if you don't think you're going to hit them, and there's, the background, there's nothing behind them, just squeeze the trigger until you hear click, click, click.
Yeah.
They're either gonna, don't close your eyes.
And I've always told her with the pistol, I was like, don't shoot any less than twice.
Yeah. I just said the complete opposite.
I mean, but no less than twice is what I tell her. Yeah, I say no more. Yeah, I was like, no, I was like, whatever you do, no less than twice. I was like, probably 3 times.
Just fire.
Because the first one you're probably gonna miss. You know.
Yeah.
Then it'll get their attention. Second one, even if you still miss, you've got more of their attention. And I was like, third time, you either got them or they're.
Or you missed again and they're running out.
Yeah, and they're running out the door. Yeah.
Yeah. So just squeeze until you hear click, 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 click.
Yeah.
You'll have holes in the wall, but those can be patched.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so like for her pistol for home defense, like it's got hollow points in it, so obviously it's not going to go through the house. But even like I said with that 45 that I used to carry on my nightstand, it was still hollow points. But I just like kind of think back to it, I'm like, man, it was really fucking irresponsible.
I've got there's a 357. The first round's empty. It's got 5 out of the 6 are full. When you pull the trigger, that first one, you're just going to get a dry fire click. That's more of a safety precaution. Then the next one is not so much. It is.
I've never fired one of those. They're pretty angry.
They can be. I mean, the ones I have. So
revolver, I'm assuming.
The problem with mine is the grips are not comfortable.
Wood.
They're plastic, and they've got knurling.
Yeah, so they bite.
So they're really light, but like after a couple, you put 12 rounds through it, your hand is kind of like, you're just like, fuck, this thing sucks. Because like they now have rubber grips, and they're nice and they're cushy, and it's memory foam and whatever. Yeah. But the ones I have are just plastic knurling grips, and they dig into your hands and they hurt like hell. Yeah, especially the 38. The 38 is probably the worst one because it's got a tiny ass handle on it for the grip. So you got big ass hands and this tiny handle, so you're holding this thing, and you're just like fuck.
Yeah, for her carry is a SIG P365.
Yeah,
that's subcompact double stack, but because it's so light, it's angry as shit. Mm-hmm. So like after firing that for a little bit, like your hand hurts.
Yeah, that's the same thing with the 38. The 357's okay. Like, but it gets to be a little angry, and that one, that's actually a highway patrol special. So that was issued to highway patrolmen back in the day.
Nice.
That was one of my grandfather's revolvers.
So then you go from that to even like the P320 45, and you shoot that, and it doesn't feel nearly as gnarly as that little angry, the little angry cricket. Well, because there's so much more weight to it.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of the weight, and the spring's bigger, so it's absorbed a lot of the recoil. But it's so angry, dude.
We call this the noisy cricket.
That's what it feels like.
This damn thing.
Yeah. It feels like the noisy cricket, but like the crazy thing is so small. It's like about the size of this phone.
Yeah, they're not huge.
Yeah. And they figured out some sort of witchcraft to put 12 rounds in that damn thing.
They double stack that.
Yeah.
Double stack that clip.
And then I think it's Smith & Wesson that's coming out with one.
Are they? I haven't.
No, that's a 45 double stack.
I haven't kept up with any of the gun shit. There for a while I was looking at some lever action stuff, and I wanted something with Picatinny rails on it so that I could
kit it out,
get a decent scope to put on it, that I didn't have to modify the shit out of it. Because a lot of those, like the way that the scopes mount, I don't like them. Like I'd rather just have the rail scopes instead of having to like pre-drill holes into the barrel and then mount the scope. And
like the gun that I've always wanted to own, and I have no idea why I've never fired one, but I've just always had a fascination with them, is an M1.
Oh.
A Grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just always liked them, just how they look, and they're very like utilitarian.
Yeah. I haven't shot one of those either. Shot a 30-06 that damn near blew me off my fucking feet. A buddy of mine found out that before my old neighbors, two houses down moved, he had put in a pile of dirt so that, because we would just go down there and shoot. A friend of ours found out that oh, you can shoot in your backyard? I'm like, yeah. We went down there. He's like, I'm going to bring my 30-06. I'm like, all right, yeah, no problem. Like, we're 30 feet from a mound of dirt firing into this
30
thing.
feet?
Yeah. Like, it's a
Oh
short,
my
it was
God.
a short range. Like, it was more of a handgun
I mean,
range.
it's going to hurt no matter what, but you're not even, that, like, it's like taking a macro lens.
Yeah, it was. And he's sitting there, and he's just firing it. He's just like.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you want to go? I'm like, dude, I can see the shockwaves coming off that thing and the dirt rising off the ground. I said, no.
The kinetic energy
I don't,
hitting at 30 feet has got to be incredible, dude.
I'm like, I don't want to shoot. He's like, go ahead. I'm like, I'm going to regret this. And I did. My shoulder hurt so bad after just one shot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, just watch my feet. Don't watch me. Watch my feet. And I fired that thing. And he was like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, we're at a handgun range, dipshit. I said, you brought a fucking 30-06 for some reason. Like, he's blowing holes in the mound of dirt. It's like,
yeah.
And then
Did you fired that Barrett at Guns N' Ribbons, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have the shell for that.
That was a different experience, man.
I'll tell you, I have never been so nervous to pull the trigger on anything in my life.
That was the first weapon Mel had ever fired.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never been so nervous in my life to fire a weapon. And that thing, almost no recoil. Like, that was my big fear, was like, this thing is going to, because I had that's way before I had shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
but the way the force translates into your body, it's like, oh, wow.
No.
Like, I was doing this like firing a 22.
Yeah. I was just like, oh.
So
I want to do that shit. Hold on, I need to do this shit again.
Yeah, the funny thing was that Bill had dropped it off, and he had to leave for something, and he had put it together, and none of us had broken one down before. We had to fucking get on YouTube to figure it out because we didn't know how to get the spring out. Because it's like, I mean, the spring is massive.
It's huge.
But there's like you had to lift up this little latch and pull it back to get the spring to come out, and none of us knew that. And we were like, man, I ain't trying to break this fucking rifle.
Yeah, no shit. That's a fucking, what, $50,000 rifle? $40,000 rifle?
Yeah.
Now it's just, but when I fired that, like, I watched everybody fire it, and I was just like, I don't think I've ever been nervous to pull the trigger on anything.
Yeah. It's, like, yeah, I mean, you know it's a big weapon just by the report and everything. But like when you actually fire it, like I was shocked at how much it didn't hurt.
It was a pussycat.
Yeah. It's like a big Rottweiler.
Yeah.
You know,
that came up
that wants to snuggle. Yeah.
Just wanted some loves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. There are guys, because I live down the street from a gun club also.
Oh, the Coon Range or whatever.
The Coon Hunters Club.
Coon Hunters Club.
Yeah. And they're always shooting. You can hear them when someone brings out one of their 50 cals. But you'll hear automatic weapons up there. You'll hear the reports off of 50 cals.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's somebody that lives close to me. Like, they must teach CHL classes or something on a pretty regular basis, because every couple weekends I'll just be outside and hear ka 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 ka. And I'm like, man, I kind of want to go over there and see if I can get some range.
Like, hey, what you guys doing? Yeah, but I won't ever go up to the Coon Hunters Club. They've got ties to things that I don't want to be a part of.
It's just on Coon Road.
It's on Coon Path Road. You're right. We have raccoons, but I don't think that was the premise of how that place started.
Hmm.
And I don't think.
I'll go with you just to break the ice.
Yeah, I don't think the coon and coon hunters was
raccoons.
Just saying. Especially with some of the propaganda shit apparently they have on the walls.
Oh, nice.
From like their humble beginnings. Of
just a bunch of gentlemen gathering by a fire.
Yeah, fire in some guy's front yard.
Yeah. See? Welcoming some folks to the neighborhood.
Welcome, motherfucker. They're just things that I just won't go up there. I drive by it every day on the way to the gym too. I could easily just stop in, fill out my membership, get my white robe. Shit. But I don't want to. I'm not doing that. Because I just can't. The place is so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, they've got people up there that have some artillery when it comes to.
Yeah, there's a place in Vegas, and there's advertisements all over the airport when you first get there. And I had heard of it before, but you can go in there.
Drive a tank.
I don't know about that, but they have miniguns that you can fire at that range.
Oh, there's a place. Yeah, there's a place you can drive a tank.
No shit.
I was gonna do it when I was.
Oh,
when I
really?
Went out. Like so.
When you didn't get to go out.
Yeah. So when I didn't get to go out there for work, one of the other guys who did with his department was like, "Go on out."
Yeah.
He got out there, and they're like, one of our partners. They took him to this range. He didn't get to drive a tank, but they took him to a range where you could fire like automatic weapons and miniguns and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But they had the option to drive a tank.
Jesus.
You drive it over cars and shit. Like they just have this huge lot full of cars that have been run over by a tank.
I've been in a tank and never got to like ride around in it, but I did get to go. I think it's called an LCAC. It's a marine amphibious landing craft where it looks like a. I don't really know how to describe it. You know what an MRAP is?
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like an MRAP, but it can float. But it can kind of float. Yeah.
It's got the 6 wheels. Or,
yeah. Exactly. That was a really cool experience.
That would be awesome. I'm sure that just smells awful. After
it smells. Yeah. Like we went out in the bay and everything. I was like, man, this is some really cool shit.
If you really want to experience that again, you can just get yourself an amphibious car. You just drive it right into the water. People look at you like you're insane.
I've seen videos of people with their big diesel trucks that can float like that.
Yeah. There is.
That's lovely. Nice rebel flag on someone's tractor back there.
The South will rise again.
Yeah. Feeling welcome.
Yeah. It's Dave Chappelle's character.
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby. Now, there's a Russian manufacturer that makes like this four-wheel. It's like the wheels on it are like balloons, and that thing can float.
There's a equipment dealer that we went to look at for a side-by-side.
Yeah.
When we thought that maybe we needed one for our property.
You need one.
And they had this big. Looked like a kind of an MRAP style, with that front glass panel.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's got the
and the tires are probably like 6 feet tall.
Yeah. That thing will float.
Yeah, that's what the guy told us.
It's like you just and it floats, and that's a Russian manufacturer.
That's pretty awesome.
Piece of equipment. It goes everywhere and anywhere. Supposedly.
I don't support the war or anything like that, but I really would like to have a Ural.
No, I don't.
You ever seen those? The motorcycle Ural?
No.
It's a old school, looking like World War II style motorcycle with a sidecar.
Okay.
Yeah, and they make some of them that look retro, like with trenching tools and stuff on them.
Oh, wow.
But Mel said I can get one if I can find the one that has the windshield, so she can sit on the sidecar. Yeah.
She needs a helmet and goggles.
Yes.
Very much.
And a scarf.
Yeah, bed knobs and broomstick style.
Dude, if I got one of those, I'd have to grow a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
And get that leather style helmet.
Leather helmet.
And the goggles with the metal frames.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Scarf, just the.
Yep. I would lean into it.
Put ribeye
in the sidecar. Yep.
With goggles on.
Yep. Some doggles.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. There was a. I can't remember what the damn thing's called. It's considered a tank. It's on tracks, but it's like it's almost like a rail vehicle. So like it's on tracks, but the body is just rails. You got 2 seats in the front, and you've got joysticks and it's a go everywhere type of just fuck around vehicle.
Yeah, rich people.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a rich people thing. And I was like, I'd really like, having one of those would be awesome. And then I'm like, how the fuck am I going to ride this thing at? Like, this is the size of this fucking transit van.
Yeah.
But there's no place I could take it. Like, I couldn't take it down to Hocking. I'd probably get kicked off the trails. Plus, it's wider than a 4-wheeler, so.
So, doesn't have to be exotic or anything, but, no unlimited budget. What would be, your ultimate daily driver? Like I said, don't have to be anything sexy. Just
no,
like
I mean, I would probably go for like a mid-80s air-cooled Volkswagen, or not Volkswagen, Porsche. Like Porsche
911.
Yeah. I'd probably do that. Just, I mean, that's what I want anyway. I mean, if I was, and that's only $60,000.
I mean, relatively speaking, for a Porsche, that's not that bad.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was gonna go for it, like just absolutely go for it.
Yeah. What's your like all out like garage car like?
There's quite a few. I mean,
So like, I guess let's divvy it up. So like, let's say, I guess, let's go American first.
So,
Well, my daily driver would be like a
Yeah.
Volkswagen bus.
which one?
The Safari, the 21 window Safari bus.
Okay.
With the Porsche in it.
Yeah.
You seen people do those conversions?
Fluffy has one.
Because it's got the same transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Porsche motors and the Subaru motors, the flat six.
The Boxers.
Yeah, the Boxer.
Yeah, ironically, there's a WRX behind us.
Yeah, those motors will mount into the bus.
Oh, really?
And the Beetles
I did not know that.
and the old Porsches. So they all use the same engine.
Yeah, that.
I
I think the Porsches are bigger because the Subarus are only. The biggest one they make is a 2.5.
Well, no, I'm just saying the physical size and
Okay.
the mounting points, they're all the same.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot. Like if there's any modification that has to be done, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
Because like my dad he had an old Beetle, and they blew the engine up in it.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the
Porsche.
junkyard, got a Porsche motor,
Yeah.
and just put an
swapped it
air
out.
and just swapped it out. Like everything bolted up, transmission, everything just bolted up. They just swapped it out, and he said
They didn't have to swap out the transmission either?
Nope. He said that fucker did wheelies. Front wheels would lift off the ground.
Actually, I'm sorry. I was thinking Subaru. But yeah, I do know that the Porsches and the Volkswagen transmissions are the same, or
Yeah.
for certain model years.
For the old air-cooled stuff. Now, for like the buses, and this is Gabriel Iglesias was talking about this.
Oh, that Fluffy.
Fluffy.
He's got one?
He collects them.
Oh, really?
And he collects them and he refurbishes them and rehabs them. He's got I think one Resto Mod version.
Nice.
But he said that the Porsche or the Subaru motors basically just set in there. Like they just you just drop them in.
But you got to swap out the transmission.
You have to swap out the transmission, yeah.
Dude, what if you went with the all-wheel drive bus? That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be badass.
Yeah.
Especially if you did the 21 window.
Yeah.
Like the longer version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fucking tits.
The Safari, yeah.
But yeah, as far as like an American car, just going for it. I'm not a big Ford guy. So Ford would probably be out of the question. I'd probably just do a truck. I'm not there like probably just do like a Dodge TRX. Like just the stupid fucking 600 horsepower.
Is that the one with the Viper in it?
I think it's got like the big ass like 6.3 liter Hemi.
Okay.
Or do like one of the Hellcats.
Well, they did make, was it the SRT that had the Viper in it? The Dodge Ram SRT? I know for
maybe.
a short period of time they made one with a fucking SRT in it, which,
maybe
that's like was it someone made a Sebring?
Well, they did it with the Cherokee also. They put the Hellcat or the SRT in a Cherokee also in the Jeep Cherokee. They put it in all kinds of weird shit just because they could.
Well, I saw where someone made that Sebring, that minivan, and they put a Hellcat in it, and it was like
that's just absurd.
What was it? Someone, we just made a Ford. We just made a Mustang with this. Chrysler guy snorts a rail off a hooker's ass. Watch this.
Well, there used to be, Dodge made I think it was a 4-cylinder turbo minivan with a manual transmission, with a 4-speed manual. Like they only made a handful of them, so they're super hard to find.
Well, in Japan, like there's a lot of vehicles are turbo because they're such small engines. Like because you have to pay taxes based off the size of your engine.
Yeah.
So a lot of the domestic models over there, they'll be like 1.8 or 2 liter, but they'll have turbo in them.
Yeah. Well,
I always wanted one, but I think there was a Nissan van that was like had knobbies and a cattle grill on it, but it was a diesel turbo all-wheel drive van.
Really?
Yeah.
Dodge made this van that ran like 14s.
Jeez.
And then they also had the K car. The K car was like this piece of shit, but
I've heard of them. I'm not familiar with them.
on some of the K cars, they put this 4-cylinder turbo motor in it.
Okay.
And it ran fucking like 14s. Like it was stupid. Like it was something that
Didn't make
back in
sense.
the day, it didn't make sense. And like, why is anybody doing this? And then it was like, oh, holy shit. That's for real? So
It's like, I remember, I wasn't there, but before Vegas Motor Speedway became what it is, it just used to be a quarter-mile track.
Yeah.
And they had a motorcycle dirt track out there. And someone had sent me a video, and it was when the Ford F-350s first came out, racing a RX-7. And, you know, they're at the line, and lights go off, and like the RX-7 just takes off, and then like you see the 350, it like just, you see this puff of smoke, and like it just sucks to the ground, and then boom. It ran like a 12 too.
yeah, those things are fucking absurd. Like Ford makes an F650.
I've never seen that.
It's a 4-door. It's an enormous.
It's not like an ambulance or something?
No, well, the frame is used for multiple things, but it's an F650. I think it uses a Caterpillar motor in it.
Jeez. So like an industrial motor.
Yeah, well, International, the semi-truck company, they make a big consumer vehicle as well. That's 4 doors, has stacks, like no CDL needed to drive it, has a bed.
No CDL.
Can, you know...
You're like, hold up, when did that become a problem?
Right, like, oh, this thing doesn't have air brakes?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm gonna die. Because that's really the only reason you need a CDL anyway, is because of air brakes. But yeah, this thing is like, both these vehicles they're huge. Huge fucking vehicles. So, I guess, you're asking what my daily is going to be. I'm going to go for that International fucking consumer truck. It's just absurd. Like, there's no reason to have it.
The garage, like the Saturday truck, Saturday like no money.
Yeah, that. Because
Okay.
it's like a $300,000 truck.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and take that. Because if I go rolling through Lancaster in that thing, people are going to move. I'm going to get a cow pusher on it. Like, they're just... When we stop, I'll have to show you like a picture of these things. They're just absurd.
Yeah, American. My weekend car. Any era or modern era?
Whatever you want.
Let's go modern era since you picked that truck. So any modern era Saturday American, weekend car. I'm gonna go with I don't know. I don't think you can really go wrong with like a classic Mustang. You know, like 70s style, or even like the shark nose style, like early 70s. But like the old bug eye style, like those original, I think 69 and a half or 70 Mustangs. Like one of those.
Oh yeah, those would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be
I could
something I can drive up to Sonic and go grab a shake.
Yeah, I could do one of the old ones. Like that wouldn't be a problem for me.
What about like classic, like pre-70s?
Classic pre-70s. It would have to be something ridiculous, like just something.
For me, it'd be like a Ford Fairlane or something.
I was thinking like Studebaker. Like it had that ridiculous circle emblem right in the middle of the
Yeah.
grill.
Didn't it have a light in the middle too?
I think
Didn't they have
so.
three headlights?
I think some of them did. Yeah, like just do something, just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, if you like those old cars, the Packard Museum is in Dayton. I actually did an event there. I DJ'd an event there. It was pretty cool. Like the lady that was like the president of the place showed me around and told me all kinds of cool stuff that like isn't on the tour.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool.
Okay, so European daily driver.
European daily driver. Oh, this one. So it's up in the air. It's difficult for me because I love German vehicles.
Yeah. I've never owned one. Audi is German, right?
Yes.
Or is that?
No,
okay.
that's
It is
German.
German? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, my son has an Audi, an A4. And that thing's nasty.
I had an A4 and I modified that thing to the next level. And I think that it was a 200 horsepower motor, like 4-cylinder turbo.
Yeah.
And I modified that thing to like 360 horsepower.
Just chip, or did you do any?
Chip, exhaust, big front end intercooler.
So you did like stage 3?
Yep, I did the whole, anything that I could get my hands on.
Because stage 3 is everything up to the ports, right?
Yeah,
for the most part.
I mean, it depends. It's like this was, so the chip was a stage 2 chip, because I think that was that was all I could get for that car at the time. But that was like 100 horsepower right there.
Jeez, just for the mapping.
Just for the fuel mapping.
How much was that?
$2,500.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, that's a lot of horses.
And that was going the safe route and going with
The safe route.
Well, there's APR. So APR is a chip. They're a programming company, and they sell the the fuel map.
The flash kits.
Yeah. So you can either do it yourself.
Was it like a port flash, or was it like a chip
no,
flash?
it was a chip flash.
Okay.
But it was through the port, so it's like.
Oh, so you could roll it back.
Yeah, and I could roll it back if I needed to. I could
take it into the shop, so you can't. So you don't void the warranty.
That shit doesn't. That doesn't actually exist as much as people want it to. So I bought that, and that was 100 horsepower right off the bat, because turbo motors are easy to squeeze horsepower out of.
Yeah.
And then I did that.
But it's just a matter of like, can the turbo handle the heat?
Right. Then I did
before you start throwing blades.
An enormous front intercooler. So the Audi's intercooler is like this big. It's
like
it's
a
only
4-fin.
No, it's, I don't know. It's like a 12 by 12 square, 12 by 10 square.
Yeah, so it's probably like a 4-fin then.
So I replaced this with a full like
an 8-fin.
Like
those ones that are like almost the width of the radiator.
It was the width of the radiator, and so that mount put all that shit together. Changed out so swapped out the exhaust. So the exhaust, got rid of the catalytic converter.
So you went turbo back.
I went full turbo back exhaust.
Okay.
But that had a muffler, and it basically.
But still
eliminated the cat, so no back pressure anymore.
Yeah.
So that's easily squeezing out another 20 to 30 horsepower there.
I mean, you need a certain amount with but you probably get that through the wastegate.
Well, you get that through, with the turbo, the back pressure isn't necessarily needed because the pressure's coming from the turbo to press the pistons.
Yeah. But it recycles it through the exhaust.
Yeah. And then, what else did I swap out? I swapped out the shifter. That's not a horsepower thing. I just went to a short shift.
Just short, lighter.
Yeah, shorter, lighter shift kit.
You switch out the clutch plate too?
Nope. Left the clutch as it was.
Are they pretty light to begin with, or?
No. I mean, for what I was doing, it wasn't really necessary.
Oh.
And I've driven a couple cars that have light and flywheels, and I wanted to fucking shoot myself. Like, that.
Missing shifts.
Well, just trying to get the car rolling in some cases. Like, just the flywheel's so light that
you don't get enough feedback.
You don't get enough feedback through your foot, so it's like, so like you gotta gas it, Like you gotta be like, "Brrr," and then like pull off, and then you slip the clutch, and it's just like, all right, whatever.
Now you're probably
So-
losing traction. And,
Yeah, well, you're losing the disc is slipping at that point because you've glazed the shit out of it.
yeah.
For the clutch. So it was just like, I'll leave. I'm not fucking with taking the clutch out of this thing and doing like a 4-putt clutch with a light and flywheel. I'm not. It's not a race
Little bit
car.
too much,
That's
yeah.
too much. That's too much work. And then there was something else I replaced.
Did you do the fuel rails too?
Nope, didn't have to do the fuel rails. Didn't do injectors because everything that I had was.
Did you have like the high end model or something?
It was.
I mean, when you bought it,
No, it was just. Well, it was.
because most of the times you have to switch out the nozzle. Or did you go with the high pressure injectors?
Nope, I
It
didn't
already
switch
have
out.
it.
But they had it just because of the way that stupid motor is. They're already high pressure injectors anyway.
Okay.
Because it's a direct injection system and it's not your standard like injection system that just pulses the gas on top of the piston. Like this injects it below the piston and
Okay.
creates the explosion instead. And it's stupid because it
Suck,
doesn't.
squeeze, bang, blow.
Yeah, it doesn't clean the piston head. That explosion cleans the piston and the carbon off the piston head. And the way that Audi does it with this direct injection shit is it doesn't do that. So you end up with issues. You end up with carbon issues that
Because you get buildup.
Yeah, you get buildup. You have to go have a carbon cleaning done.
So
in
you
the
have
head.
to use premium.
Yeah. But there was another, like, it was from a company called Go Fast Bits, and it was just like a rubber bladder that I replaced, and I can't remember on what part it was, but it was significantly thicker than the factory bladder, so that you didn't have blowouts. It was like one of the first things I did when I got the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then kept the stock turbo. That thing, it hauled ass. It was 6-speed manual.
Most turbo vehicles come down tuned as far as the boost pressure.
Yeah. You have to get and if you want to, you can change the boost on a car, but you have to, on a turbo vehicle, but you have to go buy like a separate boost controller.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Because I know with like my WRX, I think out of the factory, it's like at like 12. This is like the very first ones.
Yeah.
But people were tuning them up to like 16.
Well, you can go
with the manual boost controller. Yeah.
I've seen guys do up to 18 psi without any issues. And I've also seen people grenade their motors at 18 psi. So it can go both ways, I guess.
Yeah.
Someone tried to sign into my Venmo account today, but I'm not tapping the link that I've been texted. So
Just go to your Venmo.
I did. I already signed into my Venmo. I was going to change the password, but I don't see any transactions. I think it's just a scammy bullshit. Plus, my password's so hard to memorize. Hard to know.
I just used that thing that you told me to
The
use.
Bitwarden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I need to just go in and change the password through Bitwarden and update the password, whatever. But that car was apeshit fast, like ridiculously
It's
fast.
fairly heavy though too, isn't it?
It is.
Did you have a 4-door?
Yeah, but
Was it like a goldish color?
no, it's black.
Okay, yeah,
My
I
car
never
was
saw
black
it.
on black.
No.
And it was. Yeah, I had what was called the night optics package on that car. So instead of having any chrome around the windshield or around the grill,
It was all black,
all that shit
murdered
was
out.
black,
Yeah.
the way it should be. And then I ended up getting rid of that car because of Audi. Like there was an issue
Some with the warranty, right?
Well, there was an issue with the car was out of warranty.
But wasn't whatever was fucked up should have been covered?
Should
by
have been
the
covered.
Yeah.
Should have just been covered.
Like it was a
because
manufacturer issue.
It was a manufacturer issue, yeah. So after 2014, they fixed the problem. But the 2011s, what I had oil blow-by issues. And basically what it come down to is here in the U.S., we don't drive the same as they do in Europe. Like in Europe, they are hard on cars. They are fucking go. Well, the piston ring expands
Yeah, as it gets hot.
As it gets hot. Well, it doesn't do that in the U.S. because we don't drive the same way. You have to drive, like, you have to fucking get on it.
Oh, so they had like a higher heat tolerance, so they weren't
Yes.
expanding?
Yeah, so they basically, it was kind of European spec car. But the problem was, is I was going through like a quart of oil every 6 days.
Yeah, that's not good.
And you could see it. Like, if I dumped the clutch and took off,
Get smoke.
you'd see black smoke and oil like coming out of the exhaust. Like, it was bad. And they're like, yeah, we'll fix it, whatever. And I'm like, cool. Well, I'm planning on getting this car tuned. Is that going to be a problem? Nope, won't be a problem at all. The car's technically out of warranty. We know this is a manufacturer defect. We'll get it taken care of. I'm like, great. Got the car tuned. They were like, nope, we're not fixing your car. You got your car tuned. That's causing the problem. I said, except for all the documentation that you have that isn't.
That says it's not.
It says it's not. And so they TD1 the car, which is void warranty. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm getting rid of the car. Like, I love the car, but I'm not going to sit here and put oil in this thing every 6 days. So I got rid of it. And then the lady who bought it was from Canada. She was like a nursing student.
I think I knew you when you got rid of that.
Yeah, it would have been...
I think that was right around the time I met you.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be about accurate. It'd been about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So, got rid of it, sold it to her, told her, I was upfront with him, like, it burns oil. I said, it doesn't burn it. I said, it consumes it. Like, it's blowing it out. I said, it's taking the oil, it's blowing it out the exhaust. It's not burning it. Like, you won't get oil smoke out of this thing. But you
just get oil.
You're just getting oil out of the exhaust. If you're not careful with it, you need to put oil in it every 6 days.
Jesus.
I said, keep an eye on the oil meter. I said, I put a dipstick in it too. Like, because the car doesn't have a dipstick.
Really?
Well, they have an oil meter on the screen. So you're supposed to just, if you're low on oil, you look at the oil meter, it tells you. Which I didn't trust that. So I went and bought a dipstick, and I would look at the oil meter.
Because you still need to see the color.
Well, I wasn't even worried about the color. Because
I'm just saying, but just like as a course, that, and if you're fucking something up, and you got metal shavings in there, like you can't just not look at it.
No, and I was meticulous about my oil changes I didn't have to do them for 10,000 miles, but I did them every 3 to 5,000 miles, depending on how lazy I was being about it. But they didn't need an oil change for 10,000 miles. So I was real meticulous about it, told her everything about it. She's like, oh, I gotta put oil in it all the time? No big deal. My BMW is the same way. Okay. So we're talking. I'm like, all right, well, do you want to... She's like, can I test drive it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can test drive it. She stalls it the first time she gets in it. With me in the passenger seat. I'm like, you don't own the car yet. Please don't stall this thing again. She gets it up and going. We get on 270. We do a quick... She's like, yeah, I'll buy it, but she goes, I have to do it in payments. I'm like,
I don't think I remember this part.
I don't think I told you this part. I said, all right, fine. I said, payments are fine. I said, but you don't get the car until it's paid off. I said,
it's reasonable.
I said,
have a contract.
I said, that's it. Well, I said, I'll just write up something real quick and we'll take it to the bank and you can have someone notarize it that you're going to do this, that, and the other. I said, but I'm still driving it. I said, if something happens, I said, you'll get your money back. I said, but until I have another vehicle, for the time being, I'm still driving this vehicle. I said, I still own it.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. So she makes one payment of X amount of money, whatever it was. She paid it off in thirds for what I was just asking for what I owed on it, essentially.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, I just bumped something. Okay, we're good. So she paid it off in thirds, and so the last payment, she's like, well, I'm ready to make the last payment on this, and whatever. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. I said, I'm heading out of town. She's like, well, I want the car. I'm like, you can have the car when I have the money.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're making the last payment doesn't mean that you're going to get the car today. Until I have money in my account, you don't get the car.
That's pretty reasonable. You're not a dealership.
No. And she goes, well, can you just bring it down here, down to my house and leave it here? I'm like, no.
No.
I said, I will not. I said, I'm heading out of town. No one's going to be driving the car this week. I said, the car is safe. It'll be in my garage, locked up. I'm going to wherever it was. I think I went to Outer Banks or Myrtle Beach or someplace. I said, where...
Yeah, this part sounds familiar too.
That car it's safe. It's in the garage.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen to it. I said, when I get back, provided that I have the title, I said, because you can't have the car till I have the title anyway.
Yeah.
I said, provided I have the title, I will bring the car down to you. Like, that's... Well, I had paid off the car, requested the title, and was waiting for the title to come in. It came in while we were out of town. And every day, she sent me a message. Did you get the title? I'm like, I'm not home.
Yeah.
Not home. So finally, I get the title, take it down to her, drop it off, and she starts telling me about all this shit she's going to do to this car. I'm like, don't tell me any of this stuff. Like, I don't want to hear that you're...
What's she going to do to it?
She was going to wrap it in, like, pink vinyl wrapping, and I'm like, I don't want to hear about any of this shit. Whatever.
Have fun with that. It's your car.
It's your car. Just whatever. I turned off the APR chip, so, because you could turn it off completely. I never told her how to turn it on.
Yeah.
So...
Did she drive it when it was chipped, or did you...
She drove it when it was chipped, when it was fully modded out. And I stripped it down and put all this factory shit back in that I could. Except for the exhaust and the chip and the shifter.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I pulled the shifter too. Except for the exhaust and the chip, because those two things I couldn't pull. So I just turned the chip off, and the exhaust was the exhaust.
Yeah.
So... About a week and a half go by, and I get a text message from her. I need your help. Something's wrong with the car. And I just responded, and I'm like, okay. I don't know that I can help you.
Yeah.
She goes,
well,
well,
I'm willing to listen.
The transmission's making... She's like, can I call you? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. So she calls me, and she's like, so the transmission's making a weird noise. I'm like, what do you mean it's making a weird noise? She goes, it's kind of like a... I'm like, what'd you do? Well, I was going up 315 at 70 miles an hour, and I went to pass somebody, and I downshifted the third. Or downshifted the second. And I said,
you're missing teeth, yo.
Fuck did you do? I said, you probably blew the transmission.
Yeah.
I said, you probably ground the shit out of it. Like, you did... Why would you go from 70... At 70 miles an hour in 6th gear to second gear in 70 fucking miles an hour. Well, I was trying to pass this guy. I'm like, you're passing people. The speed limit's 55. You're already passing people. What the... She's like, I said, that car, I said, you don't need to downshift that car. I said, you just step on the gas.
Yeah.
That's it. It goes.
And don't go from, is it 6 gears?
Yeah, 6 gears. Don't go from 6 to 2.
6 to 2, yeah.
And she was like, well, can you fix it? And I'm like,
no, I can't fix it.
I'm not a fucking mechanic.
Yeah.
I said, in that car, I said, I wouldn't be fixing that shit anyway, even if I did that. I'd be taking that somewhere. If I take it to the dealership, they're just going to rake me over the coals. And I'm like, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, but that's not my problem.
That's a you problem, bro. Yeah.
I sold you the car as is, and it was mint.
Yeah.
It's not so mint anymore. Like, that's on you. That's a you thing. She's like, but there's nothing you can do?
No, I'm like, I'm not a mechanic.
I'm like, what do you want me to do?
Fix it?
I said, I can't do anything for you. I said, I can't fix the car. I said, I'm not a mechanic. I said, I don't have the shit to fix that anyway. I said, you're not going to be able to find that transmission sitting in a junkyard. I said, so what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And she's like, do you want to buy it? I'm like, no,
what?
I don't want to buy it.
Oh, wow.
Get the fuck out of here. No, I don't want the car.
I don't know if I knew this part.
No, I haven't told a whole lot of people this one. And I was just like, and even if I was going to buy it back from you, I'm not buying it back for where you bought it from me.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I'm like, I'd only give you like $1,000.
Especially after this story.
It's got a blown transmission.
Yeah. Well, how do you know? You just told me.
So you just told me it was going and it won't shift into gear. Basically.
I'm not a mechanic, but that's what that tells me.
Tells me everything I need to know.
What was the one that you took to a dealership and sold?
Well, I'll get to that. That's next. That's the next car. That's the next Audi I owned. So then, like, a couple years go by. So after that whole thing.
Well, we're almost there, so we have to save that story for...
we can save that story for whatever.
For the return trip.
But... And that was the second time I got herpes. I mean, crabs.
And that was the first time, boys and girls, that I sucked dick for crack.
Yeah, but as far as, so back to like the German car or European cars.
Yeah.
Audis are nice. I like Audis. I plan on buying another one.
Yeah.
At some point.
I know there's a cost to ownership.
There is, but I'll tell you what, when I had my S5, I changed the oil. I owned the thing for 2 years. I changed the oil, and that was it. And that car ran great.
When I was in Sweden, I think it was an S4, but it was a wagon, and
Yeah.
it was turbo diesel.
Yeah.
I wish I could have brought it back. If they would have given me the option to buy it and they would have shipped it back for me, I would have. I would like that car so much.
You should have asked. Be like, can I buy this? And you just send it back to me.
Can I pay for this in Swedish fish?
Can I get this?
Yeah.
Little red
I'm
fishes?
friends with the Swedish House Mafia.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be my European daily driver. Is that I think it was a 2.5 or 1.8 or something. It was 1.5 even maybe. It was a super small engine, but it was all-wheel drive. It drove so nice. It was just like, I was like, they give me a station wagon? This is some bullshit. I was like, well, but it's an Audi, you know, you just not bitch too much.
It's not a wagon, it's an Avant.
Avant? Oh, I'm sorry. Avante?
Avante.
But yeah, that was a really nice car. I haven't really tried to look for one here.
You're not going to, I don't know that you're going to find
they don't make them in the US?
An A4 diesel wagon.
Okay.
Because that's what you would look for, is like an A4 diesel wagon. It'd be a 1.8 liter turbo diesel.
It's probably one of my favorite rental cars, and that would definitely be my European daily driver.
See, I don't know if I would go with just being ridiculous and getting a fucking G-Wagon, which is a tank. Or
I've driven one, and they ride really rough.
they ride like a truck.
Well, but they're top heavy.
Oh. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Or if I would just go ahead and do like a Lamborghini Urus or an Audi Q8S or something along those lines.
The Cayenne?
The Cayenne, the Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah.
Or the Macan. The Macan's the smaller version.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's just a smaller SUV. Actually, I think Andrea has one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Jason bought her one. But yeah, I'd probably go, or just an Audi R8. Something, I don't know, something just that it nonsensical, like completely ridiculous, not a sensible drive, but that would be my European car. A Japanese car, just give me a fucking Toyota. Give me a Toyota 86, a Corolla 86. The old rear-wheel drive hatchback Corollas.
Yeah.
Like the Drift King of the world. Because that would just be a fun... Or a Mark IV Supra. With a 2JZ swap.
Wait, Mark... That's the like 96?
Yeah, the bubbly front end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the new Supras are ridiculous.
I have not seen one yet.
I have seen them, I have priced them, and they are...
I know they're expensive.
They're expensive. So, hooray.
All right, that
We're
concludes today's episode.
This thing right here.